Fellow citizens of the world, with all the revelations done by Elon Musk regarding the corruption of the now active American president and his son, the criminal deals in progress in the Ukraine, the obvious corrupt dealings with China, both being against federal as well as international law, also regarding the important role of the mainstream media, which is still actively censoring the story or labeling it as so-called Russian propaganda or other fake news. Number one, the elections in America are not only invalid, they were intentionally sabotaged and influenced. This means they were stolen. Not because of Russian intrusion, of course, but because of the corrupt behavior of the Democratic Party, the Biden family, and all supporting elements. Joe Biden cannot, should not, and I guess will not longer be the president of the United States. This man is compromised. Number two, all the mainstream media are lying to you in your face every day. And because of these revelations, it has become painfully clear and obvious how much effort people are willing to take to censor or spin off this narrative. At the same time, they're also expressing concerns about billionaires like Elon Musk having their own social media giants. And his reinstatement of free speech on the platform is considered a threat to democracy. Of course, they forgot to mention that all the other mainstream media in every form we know of has been in private hands for the last decades and owned by a small group of billionaires who is controlling our information ever since. The censoring and banning of free speech is the real threat to democracy, of course, and you would be naive to think that the Hunter Biden laptop story is the only thing they mislead us with. They lie to us all the time about everything. It's all mind control. It's all about perception. It's all hearsay. Number three, everything is a scam. Every sensible or critical voice or evidence against the establishment, their story, or whatever is put away as so-called Russian propaganda, what in itself is also igniting, of course, another conflict, which in its turn is also full of this shady and obvious lies, of course. So now, when we can all clearly see the truth and how it has been playing out, and we can all see that those critics and evidence was in fact the truth, we can also assume that every other situation in which Russian propaganda is being thrown around as a reason of denial, especially during the war with Ukraine, most certainly must be or absolutely is disinformation, lies, and 100% bullshit. Number four, you and I are not crazy. The conspiracy theorist, as they call it, has always been right. We are in a conspiracy. The people around us will eventually catch up, but we of course know and knew that we are not a terrorist just because we see through the obvious lies of our governments, and we as individuals are especially not a danger for any democracy whenever we express our opinion. It's their own lies, behavior, and corrupt actions which we can easily show everybody, of course, which enforces us in the end, and also the truth, of course. The elites of our world shamelessly overplayed their hands. And despite the pretty genius plan, they are failing after all. Number five, which is a spoiler alert. Elon Musk is of course also not to be trusted. He might be hailed as a whistleblower or savior of humanity, and thank you for that and for reinstating the so-called free speech. We'll see how this develops. But we should also not lose sight of the things this guy is up to and is working on, and what his specific plans for the future really are. I can tell you this, it's still all in the realm of conspiracies or maybe even Russian propaganda. You decide what you believe. Learn to unlearn.